As a Black mom of three children, as one who has went through three laboring processes, as a nurse leader in maternal child health, these recent videos that went viral of these Black birthing moms in active labor being ignored, not listened to, and not seen was really, really gut wrenching. I want to share with you a story before I get into the content. As a nurse leader before I retired, it was customary that I would go into rooms and I would ask the patients how things are going, how are we doing taking care of them, etc. And so I went into this one mom's room, and on her birth plan, the birth plan is something that normally you put up there to say how you want your birth to go or your experience to go. And her particular one said, I want to live. That is what she put on her birth plan. I could not believe it. It hit my heart to the core. Here she is, very young, somewhere in her 20s, coming into the hospital. This should be one of the most happiest, exciting times of her life. But yet she's thinking about potentially dying. And you know why she's thinking about that? Because the data shows that Black women, Black and brown women, die at 3 to 4 times more than white women. And so she's also heard that you may not be heard when it comes to pain management. And so this was really a shame to hear this and then to know that someone has increased anxiety because they fear that they will be one of the statistics. This ought not to be so. And so when I saw these two viral videos that went viral, one in Texas with Carrie Jones, and she was in agony, active labor. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. Anybody that's a nurse, you don't even have to be a labor and delivery nurse. You knew that she was in excruciating pain and getting close to the end. But to be ignored in the way that she was ignored, to be almost like she was invisible. Like the nurse was there, she was taking questions, she was asking questions, and this woman needed comfort. This woman needed someone to help her to breathe, to help her to manage what was going on with her, with all of the pain. The paperwork is the paperwork. We know that it has to get done, but there is a way that you can show compassion and care and empathy and concern for your patients. So when we become automatons, task oriented, and walled off from humanity, it's time for us to do something different. It's time for us to either accept the fact that we're burnt out, we're emotionally exhausted, we are in a space that we can't care anymore. So we need to do something, whether that means take some time off, get some therapy, whatever it is that you need to do so that you won't impact humanity. That's what we need to do. I'm speaking as a colleague who loves nurses, who loves the healthcare realm, that it's time for you to do something different or to get help. It's okay for you to get help. What we witnessed is not okay. And so it is okay for you to be not okay. But when you're not okay, you need to get help because you impact those that you come in contact with. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of others. And then we had the one in Texas. Or no, 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 no. That wasn't in Texas. It was Crown Point. And I think that was in Indiana. And this is a mom. This was her fourth kid. She knows her body. She knew she was in labor. She knew she was getting close. She called before they headed in and did what they needed to do. I think they were there for like 30 minutes or so. And she knew that the baby's head had dropped, but she had not dilated. But this is her fourth baby. Like anybody knows that the more babies you have, the quicker you deliver most of the time. And they sent her home. Within 7, 8 minutes, guess what? The baby was born. We all saw it. And can you imagine the stress, the anxiety, the fear that that family had to deal with while they were driving home, especially the dad, I just can't even imagine. That was horrific. And so I said all that to say we took an oath to do no harm. We have ethics in nursing. We are not to be judgmental. We are to treat everyone as if we were the ones being treated. That's how I look at it anyway. I look at it as when I take care of a patient, I'm taking care of one of my family members. So that means that I'm going to give my all to that particular person. Regardless, I'm going to give my all. And so this all made me think about the program that I created for my master's project. My master's project was culture, humility, and mindfulness practices in the perinatal space, or I call it for short the CHAMP experience. And the CHAMP experience really highlighted culture, humility, and mindfulness practices because, quite honestly, it all starts with the caregiver. If I am not self aware, then I'm going to have some bias and I'm going to act and treat someone differently because of my bias, because I am not self aware. And so my project endeavored to make clinicians more self aware of who they are and how they are with different patients. And so it was a really powerful project, and no one deserves to be treated in the way that we saw these two moms treated. The sad part about this, you guys, this was what we saw, but it unfortunately happens all the time. I can share that my second pregnancy with my daughter, the same type of thing happened to me. I was in the hospital, I was in agony. I kept crying out because I chose to do an epidural. And I kept asking and asking and asking, and I was in such agony, and the nurse ignored my request. She kept coming in and said, okay, I promise I'm going to come back. But then she would not come back. And then I finally got to a point where, I'm a very sweet person and I usually don't get like ticked off like that. But I was so upset because she did not listen to me. And my husband saw it and he was like, look, we need to do something here. And she finally got me an epidural. But guess what? I delivered like 30 minutes later. But my point being, listen to your patient. And that is why I like culture humility versus cultural competence. I did hear that Franciscan Health Crown Point were going to require cultural competency for their labor and delivery staff. That's a great start. But here's the deal. I personally believe when I did my research and I studied about my project, cultural humility is a better fit because cultural humility causes me to be more self aware. So, cultural competency, yes, I can learn the knowledge, I can learn the different things that different nationalities like, but I'm talking about how you operate. You need to be more self aware. You need to be more mindful in how you approach different things and different people. So, that's why I'll talk more about that when I do my series or my podcast on that. So, to my clinicians again, my nurses, my physicians, those in the healthcare realm, quite honestly, anybody in the service industry, if you're serving humanity, if you're serving human beings, then do the work on yourself. If you feel yourself short, you're burnt out. Um, like for instance, if that was me as a nurse and I saw myself like that, I would get help. You need to get help. If you are burnt out to the point that you can't even connect with your patient, you can't even touch a person on their shoulder and help them to breathe. You can't do the basics of being that support and that caregiver, then it's time for you to do something different or it's time for you to get some help. And so I'm calling out to all of my clinicians, nurses, all of the people that work in the hospitals. Get the help that you need. You can't be your best if you haven't taken care of yourself. And we know that post pandemic things have been a little crazy. And so get some help. Take care of your mental health. Take care of yourself so that you can be amazing, exceptional for humanity, the people that we serve. We are here to make sure that we hear you, we see you, we hear you, we see you, we are listening. And so I really, really want to press that in because that has been the issue for so long with Black voices of not being heard and not being seen. And I'm not talking about just from reading, I'm talking about from my own personal experience. So thank you so much for listening. And I hope that this was a wake up call and policy changes are going to come from this. I hope that people are going to speak up and not allow this type of behavior to continue to go on. As colleagues, and this is what my project did, it helped us to call out what needed to call out. We were elevating conversations, we were having those courageous cultural conversations, we were educating when we needed to educate, especially when it came to disparities and why a Black or brown mom felt the way that they did. So there is work to do. There is a lot of work to do, but we can do this and we can do this together. So thank you so much for listening. And this is Coach Charlene. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this with anyone that you feel that can benefit. And I will see you when I do my podcast.